Hey guys, I'm your girl Christy Speaks, and I am here with the beautiful Raina Simone. Now, how are you today?
I'm good. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm glad you're here.
Now,
for people who don't know, you are originally from Harlem and from Inglewood, New Jersey.
Yes, ma'am.
You're also a classically trained musician.
Mm-hmm.
You play the violin, the piano, and you produce your own music.
Yes, ma'am.
So where did the love of hip-hop actually begin? Mm-hmm. And when did you know you wanted to be an artist pursuing music full-time?
Absolutely. So I was trained as a classical musician, a pianist first.
Right.
And when I was younger, I actually did not want to play the piano at all, but my parents forced it upon me. I was that kid that was practicing and wanted to be outside playing with the kids, and I wasn't able to at the time. But nonetheless, my parents have always had this idea of the survivor, the striver, and the thriver.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Of course. And so what that means is, you come from a survivor that's, the individual that is just, grinding, trying to get to a place, and they might not be able to see that place in their lifetime. They're going to make sure that at least the next generation is able to do that. And you have the strivers. The strivers got farther than, the survivors, but couldn't quite get to the point where they can just take it all the way. Now you have the thrivers, and the thrivers can finally take it all the way. So I consider myself a thriver within my lineage. My parents as well. And so what that looked like was just making sure that I was multifaceted in whatever that meant. And one aspect of that was music, and just being able to be skillful in something. What is it that you can do as a black woman to make sure that no matter what, you will never be broke? And something like playing an instrument is one of those things.
Yes.
Worst comes to worst, if nothing else, I can always grab a piano and go into a club somewhere and say, hey,
I'm telling
can
you,
I please play for you? Or, pull the Miles Davis way, just come with an instrument, just can I get up there?
I love that.
Nonetheless, so I say all that to say that's how I started playing piano. My parents didn't play instruments themselves, really. They didn't take it all the way, so they wanted to make sure that I did. And so I played the piano. When I was in the 3rd grade, song number 5 on the Demeter Joe album, Janet Jackson, featuring Kanye West, was called My Baby. I love that song to death. I don't know that song, every single lyric, every single word, for the rest of my life, as well as what number track it was. But nonetheless, so there was that song, Kanye West verse. I memorized. I love that verse. I was singing it every single day, and I was like, I want to be a rapper.
Oh my God, that is so dope. Now, I read that you want to invent a new genre, one that represents a fusion of music from Africa, as well as using musical instruments to tell a story. So my first question is, what would be the name of this new genre, and how has the music from Africa inspired you to now incorporate it in your music today?
Absolutely. So I'll say first, I'm all about just communication amongst self when it comes to Black people just as a unit.
Yes.
In a Pan-African sense.
Yes.
And I think that there are different things in terms of socioeconomics and a wide range of other things that make it such that it's hard for us to communicate with each other the way we need to. And the truth of the matter is, if we could all communicate in a way in which we all understood each other properly, we would be a lot farther, and we would have already taken over this world.
Say that.
Nonetheless, I say all that to say, I think that music is also a language, and if our African American vernacular English is not adding up in the same exact way right now that we need to in order to communicate in that way, on a Pan-Africanist level, I want to be able to do it through music, at least, so we can at least feel it in our bones. That syncopation, that rhythm, any rhythm, that all comes from the African continent.
Yes.
Whether it's electronic music, pop music, jazz, blues,
salsa, all genres,
everything. And so I think a lot of my music is always my trying to call back to that and just internalizing that, and that is what I am. My music is a reflection of self, and as an African, I try to put that in my music a lot as well. I want to communicate
your culture.
Absolutely, that's how I take it back.
Ooh, that was deep. Sure. That was deep. Now, I know some of your biggest influences have been individuals like Jay-Z, Nas, Nina Simone, J. Cole, Big Pun, pre-2010 Kanye West, which really made me laugh. Now, if Raina Simone can do a collaboration with any other artist, who would you want to collaborate with? Who are you getting in that booth with? Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
And why?
It would be myself. It would be, how many people could be on the project?
This is your project.
That would be a hit project. It would be myself, it would be Miles Davis, it would be Jay-Z, and it would be Nina Simone. And we would get in that room, and when I tell you it would make a hit, Nina Simone, Jay-Z, Miles Davis, Raina Simone.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
I might have to try to make that happen.
I'm telling you. Now,
in a sample form or something one day.
Yes. One day. Now, your YouTube videos are crazy, especially your freestyles. It's obviously you're very naturally talented. I read in a lot of the comments they tend to use the term conscious rapper. What are your thoughts on that? Because when I think about conscious rapper, I feel like, you know, you have your Wale's, you have your Commons. Why do we have to call it conscious rap? Why can't it just be good music? It's almost like you're limiting the artist and you're just giving that label that they only make current music that is socially relevant. Do you like the term conscious rapper?
I think consciousness is just a state of being here.
Okay.
So when it comes to the term conscious rapper, I think people do often try to box you in with that term conscious rapper. I think that's the only reason why it does exist. I think rap music in itself is inherently conscious. I think that, again, it just goes back to communication and whether or not people are able to understand certain things. You know, someone like myself and Chief Keef, we're essentially talking about the same situations from different perspectives. Chief Keef is saying, "Oh, I shot a nigga," and he's saying that, he's meaning it, he's telling you his experiences. I'm saying, you know, I'm talking about the same things, but I'm talking about the systemic reasons as to why there are situations that make us, you know, feel like we need to shoot each other. But we're saying the same thing. It's just saying it differently. So we're all conscious rappers. It's just to what extent you are able to relate and to what extent you, you know, communicate with the given rapper. We're saying the same things. It's just which language you can hear it from. Like,
but just don't limit the artist. We're not going to just call people conscious rap because they make good music and good lyrics. Speaking of lyrics,
and really quickly too, I think it's deeper than that, because when you have a conscious rapper and you put a conscious rapper in a box, you make it such that conscious rap cannot be mainstream because you're making it a subcategory. And so then it's even more dangerous because no, but then it's even more dangerous because, you know, you want political music to also be able to have an opportunity to be at the forefront. You don't want to have it boxed away and put away. So the moment we're able to have commercial records that also have political undertones, I think we've gotten somewhere.
Now, speaking of messages and lyrics, there's a lyric, y'all don't judge me, but listen to this because I definitely want you just to talk about it. I want reparations, I'm talking monetary, and in the form of education, to deal with the dislocation, relocation, isolation, cultural liberation, misformation, miseducation, mass incarceration has plantation, overcompensation for time that has been wasted. I ain't never been complacent. That was just one of the many bars. That was just one of the many bars. If you want to do that over,
I want reparations. I'm talking monetary and in the form of education to deal with the dislocation, relocation, isolation, cultural erasure, misinformation, miseducation, mass incarceration, mass plantation, overcompensation for time that's been wasted. I've never been complacent. Sitting in my grandma's basement, plotting on how to make it. Sitting there reading dreams from my father by Obama. I wonder if he would have created race-based politics had he been in office a little bit longer. But
she didn't have to do me like that. But Raina, honestly, that was just like, it made me think so much. I'm talking compensation, and then you talk about jail time, and you know, please tell me more about that specific bar. Where did it come from? I know this is one of the freestyles, but that's a story right there, you know?
Most definitely. And I'm really excited for you all to hear the project that I have coming up too.
Yes, are we excited too?
So I go into depth with a lot of those things as well. Right now it's just little snippets of things here and there. But nonetheless, and you know, I was speaking about this the other day, reparations is something that should have happened a very long time ago. And for it not to have just shows the fact that we aren't really valued in this country.
Not at all.
And it gets way deeper than people even realize. You know, it's not just a matter of, oh, we worked on this land, now we want money back. It's a matter of when you also look at things like human capital, right? You took all of those working bodies from West Africa and quite literally removed human capital and therefore removed economic ability to raise the economics of that climate and put it in America. Reparations, you know, should also calculate the wealth that was lost from the African continent into that as well. But nonetheless, when people speak about reparations, they're often speaking about reparations in a monetary sense. And so they're saying, you know, reparations, okay, we'll give black people this amount of money, cool. And, you know, it's even to the point where some of us are asking for that, and we're neglecting the fact that that's not enough to do it. You know, and we're too far gone at this point. I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth of the matter. You can't give a people who have never you know, in general, as a people, had that sort of sum of money, and expected to know exactly what to do with it in a system that is against them.
Yeah.
And also in an economy in which you'd quite literally just be stimulating, you know, the hierarchy of American civilization, which is Caucasian economy again, right? So it's like that just comes back to them. And in many ways, if my father and I were talking about this the other day, in many ways, you know, if you ever wanted a stimulus package, if white people ever decided we want a stimulus package right now, all they would have to do is give black people reparations. And unfortunately, a lot of us, due to strain theory and things like that, and not having had those sums of money and knowing exactly how to invest and handle it,
we're gonna spend it.
Yeah,
all on their stuff.
Exactly, that money would go right back to them, to the point where it's a circle that would be working in their favor. And so you know,
deep, but so accurate.
Absolutely. But so when I say things like I want reparations, I'm talking monetary and in the form of education.
Yes,
I'm saying, you know, monetary reparations are great. Don't get me wrong. We want those too.
Right.
You know,
we deserve something.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the reparations, I'm not talking about a little bit of money. I'm talking about billions, trillions of dollars. When you actually calculate, you know, if you calculate the actual monetary sum in terms of crops,
Black Wall
and then
Street.
Add inflation to that. No, you don't even add all of the trauma and whatever else to the cost. That's extra for reparations. I'm talking about specifically just being paid back for the money that they made off of our labor in terms of the crops. Don't even that's owing extra after the fact. But nonetheless, we can talk about this all day.
Good.
My point is, money is great. We deserve a lot of that, but that's not the extent of it.
Right.
You know, capitalism was never in our favor either. That was built on our bodies. Capitalism was a way to oppress us as well. If you create a system on capitalism, then you can say that racism is not a matter of race and hating of people because of their color. You can say it's a matter of a person not being able to make a certain amount of money and neglect the rest of the situation. But nonetheless, we don't just need monetary things. We also need education. And so you just look at reparations as something like, okay, well, maybe in this country, people with a certain percentage and are able to trace their history back to the African continent will not have to pay for school, or will not have to pay school loans back. You know, something like that. Those things are also necessary. And so there's so many different ways to look at reparations. We can't just stop at monetary sums.